And welcome to the Blackhouse on 106.1 FM, Wellington Access Radio. Yeah, it's been a long week. Sorry, I just hit that now. I've usually I've done the intro at least 70 times before, and there's something where I was just like, wow, just the tiredness of the week just hit me. I was like, no, get the energy, get the energy back out.
Energy levels.
No, yes. So we're in the studio today with Eddie and Leah, and we have a special guest in today. Dana Marongere.
Hey, Dana Marongere, yes.
I listened for your pronunciation.
Hey, I like that. You got to. It's a Shona name. It's so hard to pronounce.
So how's everyone been going this week?
Listen. Let me tell you something.
Hey.
This whole editing and doing funny little stories on my Facebook. That was an ADHD
We love it.
moment.
We love it.
I just started making stories with pictures on my Facebook stories, and it just kept going. I don't know. I can just keep telling the story, so that was lots of fun, and it's gotten so many views.
I like it.
I'm really surprised at how many people actually look at the silliness.
It's cool.
I mean, that's cool. I enjoyed it. That's social media, right? Like, that's the sort of thing of you know it's a time thing. You know you're just putting time, but sometimes when you do get, you see the view count, or you just see the amount of likes, and you're just like, there is something really nice to be like, nice. That feels good.
Yes, they're watching.
I did that, yeah. And so, of course, I had to pull in some of my good friends into the debate with their photos. So, so that was fun. And also, just getting out the edits, that's been full on, you know what I mean?
So you put out the edit for the interview you did with Dr.
Tuwe
about his book.
Yes.
So
that last night.
And I was getting messages that from Dr. Tuwe, shout out to Dr. Tuwe, that the audio, because I sent him the audio first, is going viral.
Dope interview, by the way. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And
that was so much fun, actually, doing that interview with him. And just the love he has for his wife is just so cute. He just gushes.
Smart brother.
He just gushes with appreciation and affection, which I think that's the way it should be in every marriage, right?
I learned so much.
First of all, I'd like to welcome Dana Marongere to the show. Now, I know you're from Christchurch, and we almost worked together back in 2021. And you were going to DJ for the African Dashiki party.
Yes.
Our girl got you on the ticket, and then everything just went left.
Just everything's crumbled.
Everything crumbled.
Literally.
But I'd like to, listen, I'd like to talk to you about, you've done these vlogs online, Dana's Adventures, and that's where I first saw you. Before I go any further, are you still DJing for a living?
It's on pause right now, it's on pause right now. But I might make a comeback. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's on the plans.
It's one of those sets sometimes you won't DJ for ages, and then you have like a rusty gig.
Dude.
And then 20 minutes, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm good at this still.
I miss this. Yes.
So I stumbled upon your vlogs on YouTube by accident, but I'd like to know a little bit more about you. Just do an introduction of where you're from, how long you've been living here, etc., etc. The usual basic stuff, what you do at the moment, and then we'll go from there.
Yes. Oh, cool. Yes. Like I said, so my name is Dana Marongere. I was born in Zimbabwe. Kwekwe, shout out Kwekwe, we out here. Then my dad was the mastermind of us migrating to NZ. So we came in 2004 for a better life, better education system down here in NZ compared to where I was. I think I was around 12 years old, 12, 11, back in 04. So went straight to Christchurch. Man, culture shock. Man,
I can imagine.
Big culture shock. Yeah.
We had a guest that said they forgot who they were when they moved.
I can relate. I can definitely relate to that because sometimes as a human being you wanna belong to something. You wanna that sense of belonging. So we all we all want that, and I definitely wanted that, and I tried to be Samoan, I tried to be Maori, tried to be the Pakia, and I had to learn real quick that you are not part of that group, and it's okay. Yeah. It's cool, But it took me a long time, and you go through an identity crisis as a young man.
I think that's something that a lot of, especially if you've grown up here, that code switching that looks kind of different from the code switching that people typically talk about.
100%.
That we're code switching between Indigenous, between Pacifica, whoever our group is that we're spending time around.
Exactly.
And, the funniest thing I ever saw was when I got back from Australia, and I saw these African boys, like, I don't know where they were, and they kept on saying, Sole, Sole, also. And I was what's happened?
What's going on here?
But then I grew up here, so I was doing the same thing when I was growing up. But it just looked like my head wasn't ready for it.
And it makes sense, right? It makes sense because you want to align yourself with with a community that you might look at it as like, oh, I like their style. There's no one that looks like me that I think they're cool. So for me, we didn't have any role models. Like when I came here, my family, they weren't really pro-African. Like, sometimes you go to family's house and you see Nelson Mandela on the wall, and you see Martin Luther King. I mean, I know the American, or you see Malcolm X, right? But you see someone that sort of looks like you, but they're doing amazing stuff, and it makes you proud of your ancestral history. So I don't really have that in my home. So I won't fault my parents with the way they parented us, but I think it's important to teach your kids. If your kids have a cultural background, teach them who they are.
Yeah.
Teach them about their ancestors. Have books around the house of their tribes. For me, I'm Shona, we're part of the Bantu tribe. This is something that I was never taught as a child. I had to do my own research once I was old enough to be like, dude, you come from the Bantu tribe. Not just your Shona, but the Bantu tribe is part of that Southern African African region.
Because I hear this a lot, and I also get put on the African chaser moment where people's trying to spitfire questions at me about African history, and like I know that I grew up in an era in New Zealand where my cohorts that were also children of students knew African history. We knew when Africa Day was. We knew who significant leaders from the continent were. We had a vested interest in knowing, because there was nothing here for us. So we developed that vested interest. But I also know that there's a lot of African young people that don't know history outside of maybe their own country. But I still think it is very hard today to meet a young, millennial or Gen Z person that doesn't know something about their own country or other surrounding countries and significant, because we've all got Google in our pocket.
Of course, yeah.
And if you've got a vested interest in being proud of who you are, or proud of, or want to know about who you are, like I've sat there and discussed at length about Nyerere and tribalism and African socialism and stuff, because his books are in the library.
Yes.
You can go to the library and get them and read them.
It's free.
So and it's free. So I think that that's really interesting that you're saying that, because I've actually met a lot of young people like yourself, but I don't think it's because it's their fault. I think if you're in another environment and you're not being represented there, it's easier to go along with what is until what is inspires you to look yourself right. Does that make sense?
Powerful. It does. Yes. And I think now, like you said, everybody has a phone. Everybody has Google. So
So I don't agree. I never agree with elders that say that, because or older people say that, because millennials and Gen Z are the most technologically astute people. Like, you want to know when Africa Day is?
Yes.
Hang on.
All the answers. Is everything on the internet.
So Kara,
yes, now you're good. Living in Christchurch, like I said, massive culture shock. And I went to Shelley Boys High School. you know, it was cool. It was cool. But again, I always wanted. I was looking for a group to belong. So it was always this fight with me because I never felt like I belonged. So I would always, you know, clutch on to a group that I thought, they were cool, and I wanted to be accepted. And I've always sort of wrestled with that idea. And it's not until I was 21, I believe, that's when I became to appreciate my Africanism, this black skin, and saying that it's okay, it's you are perfect the way you are. You don't have to be.
So, like, do you think that sometimes there's a clash of things that you're dealing with? There's the knowing your identity and wanting to belong. And do you think that they're the same thing, or do you think they're two separate things?
I think they're two separate things. For me, I can speak for myself. Like, I had no idea. Like, I didn't know much about my culture. So
because you were living it, you didn't have to question it.
Yeah, exactly right. And so for me, especially for young men, like young people in general, if you're a girl or a dude, you need to, as human beings, we are social beings. So it's very important to feel like you belong, and that's why I always say, like, just try to find out a bit about yourself, even about other cultures. It's important to know about your roots, because if you don't know where you're from, that's the whole saying, right? How do you know where you're going? So for me, it's something that it took me a long time to actually invest the time and read books and watch videos, and especially that movie Wakanda. Oh my God, that movie changed. I think it changed a lot of people's lives. I was a bit older when it came out. I wish it came out when I was like 12. Oh Lord.
There's something about that film, just like it was like a nice big signal to be like, it's okay. Like it's like embrace this stuff.
Exactly.
Like, it's okay. In the same way, you had like a lot of different figures. You had stuff prior to that.
Yes.
That first like big kind of real pop culture like melanin just being like, no, it's okay, like connecting with your culture, connecting with the heritage,
straight up,
be proud of that sort of thing.
Exactly, like you said, dude. Like just to see that, wow, there's actually a superhero who's black. What? Are you serious? Like, how cool is this?
And leading a movie.
So who did you lean more towards? Because I've always were you more Black Panther or Killmonger?
Yeah, I was Black Panther all the way. Chadwick, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, just superpowers. Even his necklace, powerful, all black suit. And to me, that was empowering. I'm so happy for the generation that's coming up now, so that young African kids, that they can see that and be like, you know what, I can be that. I can. Sometimes I'm a visual person. I need to see something. You can tell me, oh yeah, this is the idea, or you can be like this. No, I want to see something. If I see it, that really ignites my brain. Like, okay, this is actually achievable. I can do this. So yeah, that movie it was a game changer for a lot of people. And I went to high school. High school was fun. It was fun.
What high school were you at?
Yeah, Shelley Boys High School. Shout out Shelley Boys. Yeah. You learn a lot, especially at an all boys high school. You're gonna get you learn a lot about just yourself, and you get challenged. You get challenged a lot.
Get bullied.
And you get bullied, and oh man, and you learn how to fight. You learn how to fight back. So
I refuse to send my boys to all boys schools.
No, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea at all.
There's something really weird in my head of just like I always look at coming to a boarding school as well. Something I was like, there's something really
tough.
There's something weird about where it was like, yes, there were some incredibly horrible, like traumatic moments through that, but there's like a weird back when you're just like, but I kind of liked it. Like there's something fun. There's something fun about the spirit of, but also,
especially boarding schools.
Because
like for me, as a young man, obviously, like, oh man, what, Dad, why am I here? Like, what am I doing at an old boys' school? Because you got all these hormones and you want to meet girls. So I don't know if that was my dad's plan, just like, you know what? We're gonna check in this boys' school and you're gonna focus on school. Hey, there's no girls, focus on school.
I have to admit that TJ did actually spend a very short time in boarding school. And he hated it. But he didn't tell me he hated it until he was in his 20s, so I didn't know he wasn't having a good time.
Boarding schools, yeah, because boarding schools are tough too, because you're away from home, right? Like, you're away from home, so.
Yeah, it's weird. But also at the same point, like, I look at myself like, I don't think I'd be anywhere near, like, the independence that I have now directly relates back to the fact, and I remember like when I hit my first year uni, like, and I saw how some of my friends struggled really, really heavily with being away from home for the first time, and I was like, I've been doing this for 5 years already, like this is, like I had separation at 13.
Wow.
And then, so 13 through to 18, like I was, that was just my life, like.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Wow.
And that just builds character, eh? It builds resilience, so anybody went to boarding school, you got my respect, brother. Because I don't think I would have, because I had cousins that went to boarding schools and head stories.
Because boarding schools are quite the thing in Zimbabwe, right?
Oh yeah, heaps of boarding schools in Zimbabwe. I'm surprised I didn't go to, actually, I didn't have a chance to go, because when I left, I left before I actually could go to high school. So I believe if I stayed long enough, I would have definitely went to a boarding school. But
so you've been here since you were 10, and you've been living in Christchurch. Never can understand that.
Yes, it's a lot. I can't understand that either, to be honest. Sometimes,
Not you particularly, just Africans in general. I will never get it. As I said earlier, I stumbled upon your online blogs, Dana's Adventures, where you're very candid about your experiences. So I don't want to get into all the details of your experiences, because people can go to your site at Dana's Adventures.
Of course. YouTube or Instagram, I'm quite active. And I share a lot. As you can tell if you watch some of my videos. I don't have a problem with, because I feel like sometimes when I started doing videos, especially about my personal life and getting in trouble and stuff like that, and how some people are like, dude, why are you doing this? Like, why are you sharing all this? This is why. As an African person, because I was because even my mother, actually my mom is raised. I think she's listening. Mom, she's like, I want to listen. So she'll be listening. But she has always told us that the truth shall set you free. Right. Whatever you do, as long as you're honest with yourself and you're comfortable with that, then everything is all good. But a lot of people, in my life, especially my aunties and uncles, are like, nah, dude, you ain't gotta do that. Nah. But I was like, nah, like, my story might be able to persuade another young person from taking the same route that I took. Because if I had someone, if I watched a video of someone saying, oh bro, if you hang around these people and you hang around these environments, you're gonna end up in hot water. I would have thought twice about people that were coming into my life. And but sometimes like for me, I'm a hard learner. I need to experience things myself. So I think I needed to go through those rough times, to really find out what I'm made of, what I'm made of, basically. And I learned a lot. And I mean, if you guys want to touch on some of the stories that we can touch on that. But
yes, but even just think of like a base understanding of some of the stuff what you talk about on your blog. Again, the same thing. Don't need to go into huge detail.
Of course, So basically, on my YouTube channel, I basically talk about how I got in that position, how I got in trouble, and for me, I was very too trusting. Someone comes into your life and they're like, bro, man, you're cool, man, let's hang out. I'm like, yes, of course. They might be driving a BMW. It's nice car.
That kind of came across.
Right. too trusting.
Trusting anybody.
Yeah, and I was like, and I don't know where it came from, but I was like, okay, cool, we can be friends. And not what I learned is that not everybody has your best intentions at heart.
No,
and some people, there's always an ulterior motive behind everything. So if somebody buys you a drink in the club, bro, don't worry about it, bro. I'm buying the whole, man, I got this. There's always for some people, not everyone, but for some people, there's always an ulterior motive. So for me, I just thought, oh, the bro is shouting the whole night, sweet. Not understanding that you are gonna be used as a pawn for whatever that dude has in mind. So for me, I was in the club. I like to party in the club, be having a good time, and I saw this group, group of dudes, and they were driving flashy cars. I was like, wow, I want that. I want those flash cars, And they're like, bro, nah, you're not ready, bro. You're not ready. I was like, man, I'm ready. So I was waiting to be put on, and they're like, okay, come hang around us, and these dudes didn't have a job. That should have been a first red flag for me. They don't work, how they making all this money.
Yeah.
So they were involved in drugs, and they're like, dude, okay, we can put you on, but we need you to be dedicated. We need you basically to be the streets, selling. And I was like, oh yeah, all right, I can do it. It's easy. Selling is easy, and yeah, they gave me I think gave me what? Like an ounce, face small amount. Oh yeah, see how you do with that. And sheesh, being in the streets is cold, and it's dangerous, And I was in the streets, and man, it was tough because it's so dangerous. Because when somebody's addicted to something, they'll do anything. I didn't understand that.
Anything to anybody.
And even their own mother,
Yeah.
they would do something. So I didn't understand that. So I ran into some situations that were very dangerous.
Yeah, I just want to interrupt you because it reminds me of an era back in the 80s where in New Zealand, they had a real problem with heroin, and people were making home bake. Right, so this was a homemade type heroin. There were reports of some, this is in Auckland, there were reports of this is way back in the 80s.
Okay.
And so I knew people as a young person that were addicted to either heroin or home bake, and were in and out of the methadone clinics, you know what I mean? And I watched some horrific things as a teenager happen to not just people, but young people, children. Exactly. And I just had to get, I never touch, I don't like injections, so no. Yeah. But I think if I had stayed in that environment around those same people, the chances of me actually ending up in that situation was very, very high. And something said to me, get out of Auckland.
Yes.
Just get out of Auckland. And I've never gone back. But the other thing I thought was very interesting is that what you're saying is a similar sort of situation is happening now, but with the drugs they use today. And what I thought was quite crazy is that they're bringing back the cough syrup or whatever they've got something in it that pseudoephedrine.
That's crazy, right? The pharmacy too.
I'm pretty sure originally got banned in New Zealand because of the home bake.
Yes.
People stealing it from chemists and making home bake. And now they're bringing it back.
That is, I think, what's his name? Is it Seymour? David Seymour. Oh man, he's the guy that actually said, okay, guys, I think we should bring back cars.
And I mean, if you're not like into that kind of downer sort of opiated sort of state, maybe the reason is because people are more into upper things that make you go up in speed more than they make you go to sleep now, so it's probably not the same threat. I don't know.
That's true.
But I remember like pharmacies and that were getting broken in on a regular basis.
That's one of the things they were scared of, right? They were like, okay,
that's
like,
why they stopped it.
what's their safety? Are these pharmacists? Are they going to be safe? Because if someone really wants to, to get pseudoephedrine, they'll get it regardless. So yeah, it's but apparently it's quite hard to get. You gotta they vet you like crazy. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna manage that. It's gonna be quite interesting.
I mean, great for people with flus that don't have addictions to heroin.
It's a lot of crashes.
It's not so great.
It's crazy crashes. But so because for me, I never used myself. I never actually used drugs ever. I mean, smoked weed there, but so I didn't understand that chemicals, how powerful these chemicals were, that they can make someone go crazy. Yeah,
because you said in one of your videos that you were quite naive to the impacts. How do you feel now about that on the other side of all of this? How do you feel now?
Yes. So I might fast forward a little bit. Okay. So it took me doing time. It took me going inside, inside the prison, basically to understand the effects of this drug. Because 90% of people that were locked up, their crimes aligned with the drug, methamphetamine. I was like, oh, jeez, I'm in trouble, right? I was like, I'm in trouble, And I remember because I was in remand, and I stayed in remand for 6 months, which is a long time, by the way. And one guy was like, bro, you're in here for what? For importing what? Oh, jeez, that's life. So it took me. It is like really? The maximum. Damn. Maximum penalty is. Oh, I passed out.
You passed out.
I passed out on the floor, and they're like there to revive me and chuck water onto me. But so I had to do my research. I'm like, okay, why is this drug so bad? What is it doing to people? Then once I did my research, and I was like, oh wow, okay, you're a piece of crap. So it took me about myself, because I'm like, bro, because you never, because for me, my intention is never to hate other human beings. I just thought, it's a party drug, everybody, you take it, you want to have a good time. I didn't understand what it makes you want to do, that you don't want to rob the whole neighborhood. So doing my research inside and seeing, and people were losing their minds, damn near dying in this. So I was like, okay, this is a serious thing.
And you would have been able to see people withdrawing, right?
I saw everything in there, and you see someone ODing, and even just having withdrawals, and it's such and just because of a drug. So I was like, wow, okay, we got a serious problem in NZ about our drug abuse, and it's just checking someone in a prison doesn't fix the problem. We have to, as a country, as a government, they have to find proper education and proper mental health classes, or just therapy support, dude, because mental health, it's so neglected in NZ. Even inside, a lot of people are dealing with mental health. They just don't have the right support system to actually deal with anxiety, depression, or why they're using it in the first place. Or so for me, I had to learn, okay, there's you are being used, also being African, black dude, you're in a court, immediately he did it. You look like he did it.
The reality is that, in New Zealand, Pacifica, and Māori people get, what do you call that? Their sentencing is something like 7 times higher.
It's crazy.
Than it's pretty high.
And about 80% of people inside are Māori. all Pacific Islanders. You know, I met a couple Africans brothers in there with some driving, man, driving. Like, brother, what are you doing here? Oh, brother, I got caught driving for the 13th time. Guy, stop driving, bro. Please.
Ride a bike.
Ride a bike. Why are you driving drunk anyway? Jeez. But yeah, the majority were people of color, and we as a country, they have to figure out a way, because just locking people up and throwing away the key, not the answer.
What's your opinion on the introduction of boot camps?
Cool.
For the second time.
Yes, because
in
Nisha
my
did it, right?
lifetime.
I think John Key did it under his.
That was it the third time John Key did it.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
did it as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think he actually introduced. Did he? I'm not sure if he did.
Before us, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, boot camps for kids, really, 10 years old, 11 years old. I think it's a bit harsh for me, you know, because I do see the RAM raids in Auckland, even in Christchurch, it's getting pretty serious, right? Dunedin
But
down south as well.
we also see corporate tax fraud, and you don't see anything happening with
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, can we put them in boot camps so we can lock them up for a while so they
That,
learn
yeah,
the
yeah, that's like white
know?
collar, right? White collar.
Yeah, and just teach
yeah.
them the whole thing about being honest and telling the truth.
The truth.
That can be their, but
Yeah.
we're going to have some truth lessons today and being honest lessons.
Exactly, yeah.
So I actually had a question I wanted to put to you, because I think you kind of talked about it, and I think it kind of ties together some of the things we talked about initially.
of
You're
course.
talking about the idea of like wanting to belong and that sort of thing. So I remember in one of the vlogs you were talking about like, you know, you were based in Christchurch, and
Yes.
but you were going up to Auckland quite a lot, and then suddenly you were interacting with different crowds, you were interacting with people, you're like, oh, yo, there was these like, yeah, like I said, and then you say, so I think you were saying like, you see people with like real flash cars and like real like, you know, able to, and I think it's really interesting, like, I've noticed something, and I think you kind of talked about having, you know, that kind of thing, like you wanted to level up and that kind of, what's that entrepreneur, that kind of growth
course.
mindset.
Yeah.
And I guess I can look at it like, do you, I guess what is the what is the sorts of things that you kind of felt you valued at the time, and I guess now, like you said, kind of coming out the other side of things, how has that kind
Yes.
of, that
Interesting,
shifted?
dude.
Yeah, that shifted.
I like that question, dude. Because to me, I think growing up in poverty, I had it wasn't a healthy relationship with money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always prioritized money for some reason, right?
Yeah.
Because when you grow up without a lot of money, you've got this hunger for it. Like if you see someone with nice shoes, you know, nice clothes, nice car, you are instantly attracted to that.
Yeah.
So for me, I didn't understand my relationship with money. So when I went to Auckland, seeing people with nice things, I instantly wanted a piece of that, right? Whether I was doing it lawfully or unlawfully, I didn't care. I was like, I gotta get a piece of that pie. And it's not until I did my time, and I was like, wait, I'm in prison, I'm broke, and I'm miserable. Right? Like every time, you know, you can have all this money. Money is cool. It's nice to have money. You know, I tasted a little bit of money. It's nice, but for me, I learned that it wasn't everything that I expected.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember one time I was in a nightclub and I had about $20,000. And I was like, wow, and I was giving people money away. And I was like, and everyone's like, wait, Dana, what's going on? Like, why are you so nice? And I didn't get that feeling that I was looking for. I didn't get that feeling like wow, I'm powerful. I didn't get that feeling. I was like, wait, it's just money. So for me, having money made me understood it's not everything.
Yeah.
For me, speaking for myself, building relationships is more important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having a 9-to-5 is boring as that sounds. Some people, it was cool to me. I was like, you know what, I can earn not a lot of money, but I have a 9-to-5, but I'm establishing relationships with people, and for me, that was more powerful. You know, I was like, wow. So this whole time I had a distorted, you know, relationship with money, not understanding that I didn't need money to be happy.
Yeah.
All I needed was good friends, good family, a good support system, and something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was because for some reason I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I was always like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? Do I want to? Because I'm currently working in construction, building renovations.
Right.
I was like, nah, that's not my calling. What's my calling?
Yeah.
I love talking to people. I love
Radio host.
radio. I was like, damn, that's what I need to do.
We always need more African radio.
This is dope, and thank you for having me, by the way, because I love your work, you guys. So I was like, I love talking to people, whatever it is, so I created a channel, my YouTube channel that I need to keep because I haven't really been posting as much as I should. So I need to get back on the grind. But I realized like that was my calling. I need to go to Auckland this time for the right reason to go to school. And
so you're going up to school?
I'm going to school.
Right.
So I actually want to get I actually want to study business and marketing, right?
And then you can come back and work with Blackhouse.
Please give me a job. So and for me that's my calling, and I'm finally starting to do that. It took a long time, obviously, understanding, like, oh wow, you don't need that $100,000 to be happy.
Yeah.
You don't need a million friends, fake friends that I had, to tell me that, oh, you're awesome. You don't need yes men around you.
Yeah.
You just need a good people around you that are honest with you.
Yeah.
If you're bugging, if you just like, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Dan, you're wrong. Yeah, you're going the wrong way, bro.
Yeah.
Nah, tell me. Pull me up on it. So now that I'm older, 32, I'm realizing a lot. I'm like, wow, man. It took me to be at this stage to realize, to learn. I'm still learning, but to understand myself. Like, who am I? What's my purpose on this earth? So, yeah.
But it's not really. Do you think there's not really a timeline on that though? It's the sort of thing.
Yeah,
right?
of
Like,
course.
That's the sort of thing. You don't have to have it figured out by
Dude.
25.
Yeah. That old story.
It's taken me 5 decades.
Yeah, you see, and that's the beautiful thing, right? Like there's, like you say, there's no limit, And for me, I believe you should learn something every day about yourself, or about life in general, and putting yourself out there. Me coming to Wellington, I love Wellington, by the way, and for so long I never left Christchurch. I was just chilling in Christchurch. I was like, what am I doing? But comfort, right?
Yeah.
Comfort. I got everything I needed. I thought I had everything that I needed in Christchurch. So I was like, what do I need to live for? I'm good. I'm a chill. So, and I didn't have big dreams or big goals or something to look forward to. You were just living day by day by day. And that's, for me, that's a dangerous way of living.
And then, like, also, and in those, because, I know the kind of circles that you were moving in, because I had my experience back, not getting in trouble with the law in that sense with that, but I had my experience with those people like that, and you can get sucked into it kind of being you're living within this bubble, and the only people that exist in the bubble are other people that are doing the same thing, and so it's so hard to step out. Like, it was a massive thing for me to just go back to my little beds that I had at the time, throw all my stuff into a bag, jump on a bus and go, I'm out. That was it.
Sheesh.
But it actually took a tragedy and me making that decision in a minute, like, this is not, I don't want to be a part of this.
That is powerful.
And it was like I was 19, so everybody that I knew was in their late 20s. And well experienced, very deep in that lifestyle, and I, as a young person who was already not living at home, I was looking at them thinking that's what I want to be. Just the same as how you, because of the same things, because we were living in poverty, and I was seeing all of the stuff these older people were doing, and I was thinking I think this is, and then and I was like, no, that's not me. I'm out. Boom, gone. I left, and I never went back.
Yeah, and it's crazy, right? Like, because you hear that intuition.
Yeah, the
That,
intuition.
you know,
definitely.
yeah, and for me, I kept ignoring it. I was like, nah, this circle, they're my brothers. They love me. You know what?
But their little voice.
Yeah, the little voice
saying,
telling,
like,
bro, like maybe this is not the right friends to be around, or this is not the right environment. But yeah, for me, nowadays I always try to listen to my gut. My gut is what's my gut telling me, you know. And sometimes, you know, it's what I learned as well is like it's good to be uncomfortable. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable sometimes, right? As long as you're moving as long as you're growing as a person. Because for me, I was, like I said, the reason why I was in Christchurch for so long, I was comfortable. So I was like, if I went to Wellington, who do I know in Wellington? Oh my God, like it's a big city. I don't know anybody. I gotta, you know, wow, like coming from Christchurch.
Yeah.
Wellington is a big city.
I call Wellington a small town. What do you call it? A large town.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Really large town, I like that. Yeah. So, but I learned that sometimes in life you have to step outside of the comfort zone and just put yourself out there, and that will just open up more doors for you. I've been around some really incredible people, man. Like even the last 6-7 months, even coming out of prison, like I was like, wow, okay, you did something bad, but you are not a bad person, and you need to learn that okay, don't do that again. Like it's like putting your hands on fire, right? Ooh, that bad. Oh, don't do that again. Yeah. So what I learned was, okay, I'm gonna move differently, right? And I had to change my circle. I got rid of my old cell phone number. Got rid of that. People that when helping me, got rid of them. And basically, it's almost like a rebate that I had, you know. And I don't go out anymore. Like partying, I don't really party. Like the only party that I only go out when I go to different cities. Like I was in Tauranga, I think 2 weeks ago. Amazing time. And I went to this Muay Thai event. And yeah, I also went to the Mount. So much fun. But I was like, okay, cool. You're experiencing new things. Yeah, you're putting yourself out there. You're meeting people. And, you know, it's not the same old thing. You're actually doing new things that excite you, and you're moving in the right direction. So yeah, that's the path that I'm on.
I wanted to ask about, you know, like you would have seen a lot of recidivism in prison.
Yeah.
People that go out, they come back in, they go out, they come back in. You speak quite emotionally on the second video about, you know, the effect it had on your parents and what it was like to see the impact of your actions on them. Yeah, that's a good question.
Because being in my family, nobody's ever been in trouble. So so me, even when the cops showed up and be like, oh, we're here to get Dana, my parents were like, what? For what? So it was a shock for them. That so I remember 2021, I didn't realize my dad was quite sick in 2021.
Oh, no.
So and I'm dealing with this case. Then I go inside. And I realized that what I do doesn't just affect me. It affects. It's like the ripple effect, right?
Yeah.
It affects the whole community. It affects me. It affects my parents. My brother. So I was like, wait. I'm not just doing time by myself. My whole family is doing time with me because they're gonna send me money to survive in there. It's expensive to survive to be in there.
Yeah.
Money, letters, the time they gotta come see you. So I was like, this is affecting them as well. So once I understood that, I was like, wow. And it's just to see my mom crying in court. I was like, jeez, what am I doing? Like, and them in the way that the justice system were talking to my parents, like they did the crime or they knew about the crime. So that really affected me, that their privacy was being invaded. And I was like, okay, so these are my actions. That was very that was very tough for me to deal with, because it made me realize, like, wow, I'm hating the people that I love. My actions are hating the people that I love. So whatever you do, don't just think about yourself. but think about others.
And must be a bit of a weird thing as well to think about, like, saying that, like, your parents is that sort of thing, like, people who've raised you, and there's always that sort of thing of, like, whenever I go home, I'm always like, I always kind of go back to, like, how I was as a kid. Like,
exactly.
My Bible, it's like, that must be really difficult to almost have that sort of thing of being like, have that kind of feeling of like, oh shit, like, now like I am an adult and these things, like, I'm not just this person in my parents' eyes. Now I have this responsibility, I have this kind of thing where I also have to uphold this as well, right?
Exactly, dude. Yeah, and that's interesting. That's interesting. How you worded that. It is all like I said. 2021, my dad passed away in 2021. So I was like, whoa.
And you were
I was inside.
Oh no.
So I was like, okay. And I remember when they took me away, and he just said, son, when you come back, you gotta promise me that you look after your mother. And I was like, whatever I did. I didn't understand those were his last words to me, because he knew what was going on with his health and that. So I didn't know. So when he passed, I was like, damn, okay. I gotta step up. I gotta really start looking after the family, my mom, my brother, and checking in and supporting, and basically emotional support, financial support, whatever. I've gotta step up, and I'm that guy now for my family. Where Dad used to check in, hey buddy, how you doing? Messages, calls, and now I do that with my mother, my brother, my stepsisters, whatever. So
because your mum's not just a mum, she's a person too,
She is, feelings and emotions, needs.
Yeah, she's got feelings and emotions. And, she wants to know everything's going well.
Exactly, right. And without my dad in the picture now, me and my brother, we are pretty much all she has. So it made me realize, like, I need to step up big time, and I need to make her proud. I need to do something that's gonna be. She's gonna be like, you know what? That's my son. He's doing the right thing. He's getting educated. He's working. He's got a legal job, and illegal. These days, you gotta pay your tax. So and it feels good to do good. It feels good to do good for other people, even my friends, my own personal friends. I started getting into boxing when I came out of prison. This girl, I was training with her, and she was going through a rough patch in her life, and I was like, let's go boxing. I was like, wow, boxing is actually good for them. It's actually like it's very therapeutic, because you're hitting the bag, the pads, and whatever is going on in your life, for that hour, everything stops. You're just focused on the moment, and you're releasing all these feel-good chemicals. Did you
feel like you were having those moments like that when you were in the old life? Were you having those moments? Because what I could see, and we've only got like about 10 minutes.
5 minutes to go.
5 minutes.
Okay.
I can see that there was a lot of scattered attention. You were worried about who was over here and who was over there and who was behind you. The paranoia of that. Like, could you ever have those moments, like when you go boxing, where you could just get into your head and get that cortisol out?
Yeah, I like what you said. Like it's all like my whole thing these days is attaining peace, right? So back in those days was chaos. I was paranoid. I was, especially being in that life, you always who's behind me? What am I doing? So I didn't have peace. So now I'm like, wow, I'm at peace, man. I don't have to look behind my back. I'm good with everybody, and I care. As long as my family are good, my friends are good, I'm okay. I don't have to please anybody else. So, and I'm always finding things that I can do, like even walking in nature, boxing, listen to music. Find whatever you do, whatever you can that can bring you that sense of peace. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Because my life has been so chaotic, 2021. So now I'm like, find something that brings you peace. Because that old life in 2021, that was nothing but chaos. I couldn't sleep. So I thank God that I'm still here, and we are healthy, you know, we are moving into, you know, positive paths, and yeah, dude, it's looking good. It feels good to do good.
I noticed in a lot of your videos, like I think the first one you had, like probably 4 or 5 books kind of sort of together.
Oh,
is that you?
my
Are you
guy.
a big reader? Or
Yes, you noticed that? Yeah, so it's interesting because I actually never read a book before I went to prison. I was like, never, not even one.
I know, right?
So-
like internet.
Yeah, right. So I was,
I
yeah.
think we're all got ADHD.
We do, right?
Yeah.
So I started reading a lot inside, like 50 cents. It's got an amazing book. Power, I think it's called Power. Robert Greene is another one.
Yeah.
You know, Chappelle Colby. I read her book. So yeah, and there's power in reading a book, dude. You know, just reading it, just because I prefer paper books.
Yeah.
I don't want to read on my phone or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd rather read a book. So, and I learned so much.
Are those all the books that you have already read?
Those I've read all those books, and that's just, you know, I put them there for a reason. So you should pick them up. I'm like, yeah, my guy. So yeah,
Have you read Malcolm X's autobiography yet?
powerful. I read that. Oh my god, yeah. That's in. He's one of my fathers and I'm like, you know what, that man. Yeah, he was him.
Look at his life trajectory, right?
Exactly, you know.
He was Detroit Red.
Detroit Red, yes,
And he was a drug dealer and a pimp.
Yes, people don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know that.
Exactly.
His transformation happened.
And he became something like a messenger, like a prophet, you know, for the church, the Muslim church, you know, in America, you know, and things went wrong, but he actually he came from that rough background, and he was able to, you know, clean himself up and find his calling and uplift his people.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, that's a role model to look up to.
And do you find with like books it's almost like, you know, you're talking about that, it's like obviously in a different way from boxing, but do you find that books is the sort of thing of like you have to kind of, like again with the physical book, you have to kind of concentrate and you have to kind of have that space where you are just
locked in, just locked in, dude.
Thing, right?
Yeah, you need to, you know, especially the book, you need to be, especially if you're reading a good book, you gotta get locked in, you know. There's no distractions. For me, I like, you know, just sometimes even on the weekend Sundays, just open up a book, and just be locked on. Turn off, my phone is turned off.
Yeah.
I'm away from everyone, and I'm just in my own element, and I just get heavily invested in the book. Something about getting lost in a good book, right? I like, you know. So yeah, people, get off your cell phones, read some good books, man. It'll bring you some peace.
Yeah, I'm gonna give myself that bit of advice as well.
What's like what I do? Like I try to read. Like I wake up at 7. This alarm goes off at 7.
Nice, dude.
And then my phone's in another room, and my phone alarm goes off at 7:15.
Oh,
and in
nice.
that 15 minutes, I'm like, cool, read something, even just for 15 minutes, just kind of clear my mind.
Yes, brother. Yes, that's what's up. Are you a big reader yourself?
Yeah, I've always since I was a kid.
Nice, dude. Yeah, something about books, it changes people's lives, man. Definitely.
We recently interviewed Dr. Tue on his book, An African Village Boy in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and that was literally the first book I've read.
Wow. Where can you buy that book? Because I want to read it.
Oh, it's all on the YouTube link.
Okay.
All the links that you
I need to
can buy.
get the
And you
book.
can buy it
Yeah.
from him because he's in Wellington. So.
Wellington. Okay, yeah. I need to, because I
He's
saw.
in Kapiti Coast.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I want to read that book because he talked about a lot of, because it's a Zimbabwean. There's a lot of history that people are just, you know, under the mat, you know. So we need to be
I can
real.
also recommend you some Zimbabwean authors as well.
For sure, please.
So we're coming up to the hour almost.
Oh wow, fast, eh?
No, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate this.